Welcome to AI Labs. Call 469 for 693964 for individual classes. Let's get started.
Bricks is a massive. Again, it's also whatever the SMP we already covered, right? Now it's all massive engines actually. So it is a cloud-based massive processing system where it is having capability to load the data, process, and store the data. Now immediately CB can question me saying that ADF also doing the same thing, right? CB?
Yes, sir.
ADF also doing same. We'll see the differences, but it is also kind of a majorly ADF we say ADB will use for processing purpose. Okay. Now it is a majorly comes under a category called big data flavor. So in the olden days, in order to solve big data problems, we used to have Hadoop. Hadoop is a big data solution where we need to learn 1,000 tools like MapReduce, Peak, SDFS, so many components. Right? Impala, so many components, dozen components you need to learn in order to claim you are a Hadoop developer. Now, with one service, you can achieve all those things. That's called ADB, Azure DataBricks. So, but the problem is same. So, what are the 5 V's of big data? Volume. Basically, the volume. Huge data. For example, let's take overall, let's take in 20 years back, in entire India, how many bank accounts might be there? For example, out of 130 crore population, how many people have bank accounts in 20 years back? Hardly 5 crores, not more than that, right?
Yes, sir.
So now in family, everybody, for example, let me tell you, in my family, I have 5 phones, 5 SIMs, Prithvi knows. One Jio, one Airtel, and my wife, my kid is having a data card, right? My father is having. So imagine how much. Okay, let's forget about all the calls and all. Only the payment 5 into 1. So like that, how many families? Everybody is a huge volume of the data. For example, if you go to DMart, forget about Walmart. In our India itself, how much data we are generating? The data is very high. Volume is very big. And the speed at which the data is coming and storing. For example, if you know the pilot used to, from the flight, they used to send the data that will be storing into the database, right? That's how they will capture where the aeroplane is moving, right? The speed at which the data is coming. For example, now Amazon, everybody is now Amazon ordering online. Jamota, how many people? Nowadays, people are not at all cooking, right? So, a lot of the volume, the speed, volume is the big, the amount of data is more. At the same, the speed at which data is coming and storing is also very high. Okay, variety. And basically, variety. Structured data, unstructured data, semi-structured data. The data also variety. The variety of data. In the olden days, in order to store the data, we also only used to store data in the database, structured data, rows and columns. Now, not the right, you are storing XML, say JSON data, unstructured data, that comments. So basically, the amount of data, the variety is different. Now, veracity. Veracity is meaning that the trustworthiness of the data. So you are going to capture the more valuable data for us actually. After that, we are also going to get value out of this huge data. In order to, these are all normal traditional or SQL server, like Java programs to process huge amount of data. These tools are not able to solve these big data problems. That's where Google and Yahoo, they released one paper how to solve this problem by introducing a lot of technical architectures. And they solved, and one of the implementation we are doing is Hadoop. Hadoop is a big data problem solver. Big data is a problem, and how to solve is, so Hadoop is the solution for that action. So big data is a problem, Hadoop is the solution. So what are the majorly, there will be, these are the different components in Hadoop, SDFS, like how we have a file system. The way they store the data processor, so they use a file system called Hadoop file system, HD, Hadoop file system, SDFS. So in order to, that is only storage. Okay, in order to process, we are using MapReduce. We are using a MapReduce. Yarn is a tool to manage. Like if you recollect our synopsis, we have a control node, right? Like that here, Yarn is a yet another resource negotiator. Yarn is the full form is yet another resource negotiator. Okay, basically it is a component in big data which is going to take care about for which resource I will ask. Basically it is like a control node. Okay, so this is remaining all our data nodes. This is a control node which is going to take care of processing and taking the control out of other nodes. Okay, the high level, the Hadoop, the architecture, SDFS architecture is basically you have a master node. Like you can recollect, it's a control node in our synopsis, downside data node, or right, computation node. Here, those are all we call as a slave nodes or data nodes. Okay, so this is, I am all talking about Hadoop. Now, in the olden days, okay, let's take there is some data in a table. Now, let's take you want to give hike 500 rupees for employee. Each employee want to hike, you want to increment 500 rupees salary. What you have to do, Subi? I told, go and update 500 rupees for increment 500 rupees for each and every employee. So what we do? We do update EMP set sal equal to sal plus 5,000, right? Now the table data is stored in a hard disk. Tim, focus here. The table data is stored in hard disk, right? It is there here. Now your CPU is not having capability directly go to the hard disk, do that update statement. Right, Ravi sir? So the data has to move to the RAM, right? First. Then CPU will try to update all the records and write back to the hard disk. Right? That is a old method. Because of this technique, the performance is going slow down. The performance is not up to the mark. The performance is not up to the mark. So now the industry has introduced a technique called, they used to store the required data which required super speed while processing in the RAM itself. Now we can question me, sir, why can previously itself they can, in the olden days also they can store the data in the RAM. Why they store the in hard disk? Then they, while processing, why have to move? It's all very, I mean, say the performance slow, right? To answer that question is, now let's take our Prithvi purchase personal laptop. What is the hard disk in your laptop, Prithvi?
Sir, 500 GB SSD, sir.
500 GB. What is the RAM?
8 GB RAM.
8 GB. Why cannot you can go for 800 GB RAM?
Costly, sir, RAM.
Very expensive, right? So based upon need, let's take now they want to implement, Amazon want to implement some a solution where they require the super speed while processing the data. Now for Amazon, the money is not a yesterday or day before yesterday went to moon, right? Somewhere. I hope you people are following the news, right? He went to Amazon owner, right?
Yes.
Bezos, right? So for him, money is not the matter, right? For him, the processing speed is matter. So the people who can afford the cost, they can go and store the data in the RAM itself, or huge data they can keep in the RAM, wherein while processing, the data is there in the RAM. It can process super speed. Now the modern technologies, for example, Power BI in memory, where it is stored in the RAM. When you create a columnar storage, that's also in SQL Server or any indexer, it also stores the data in the RAM, right? So like that in SSA's tabular, by default the data will store in the RAM, right? For example, HANA data is going to store into the RAM. So in HANA, minimum size of the RAM in order to implement HANA, minimum RAM should be 1 terabyte, not hard disk. RAM I'm talking.
Yes.
1 terabyte of RAM should be, then only they will get that performance. Okay. Now, for example, Spark from Hadoop, one of the component called Spark. So Spark, these are all the latest and greatest modern technologies which they are asking to store the data in the RAM so that you get a super speed performance, right? So this is the old where you saw performance issue. This is the modern technology. For example, you can see in Hadoop they replaced this MapReduce processing engine with a Spark. Spark is basically what? Spark is a computation engine which will store the data in the RAM, right? So once you store the RAM, you will get a super performance. So the architecture of the Spark is like this. Okay, basically you have a Spark context, cluster manager, and the worker node. So entire, if you look at here, the data sources are from SDFS, SQL, NoSQL. When we try to process, it will bring all the data in the RAM and do the processing. So now we go onwards, you need to spend a little bit of daily, some 30 minutes of time to learn the Hadoop or big data terminology like Python, PySpark, little bit. So initially it might you guys feel difficult, but slowly spend, at least you need to learn a language called Python and PySpark. PySpark is not a new language. When you try to write Python code in Azure DataBricks, that code is called PySpark. So basically you need to learn very simple language called Python. So I will tell you where you have to learn. What is DataBricks? Okay, that's a little bit history about big data, Hadoop. That's a little bit of big data, Hadoop, the terminology. Now come to the Azure DataBricks. What is a DataBricks? DataBricks is an industry-leading cloud-based data engineering tool used for processing and transforming massive quantities of data and exploring the data through machine learning models. Okay. Slowly we are moving towards from our comfort zone of writing SQL, taking data from flat file, writing into database, small derived column lookup, right? Very simple, no brain usage there and all, right? Now slowly we are moving towards little uncomfort area. It is not difficult, but it is not a comfortable area because let's take Ravi sir spent 15 years of his life, his entire career in .NET, then MSBA now. So all is a linear program. Declare a small variable, maybe use a for loop or if else statement. Then moving to database, select statement, create table. All not a complex pointer programming we are doing there. Now we need to move on the comfort zone. From comfort zone to uncomfort zone, it's also not difficult. But this is the first time we are moving toward this kind of machine learning, data science, very, very big terminology. Okay. So, but the concept is when you try to implement, you feel very easy. Okay? But only first 30 days, you will feel little uncomfort, but there is no alternative team. Now, almost all in another 2 years, your SSIS is going to die. SSRS is already dead, except in Prithvi company. I don't see where SSRS is implementing. Okay,
Yes.
it's already 90% SSRS is already dead. Okay, now only 10% is there. Already people are implementing Power BI. Slowly, in another 2 years, SSIS will also die. Okay, definitely, people will go and implement Azure Data Factory for ETL, especially Microsoft side. That's why you see a lot of demand, right? So similarly, Azure DataBricks, whenever you are claiming MSBA or Azure BA developer, they are also expecting Azure DataBricks. So, but Azure is not developed the DataBricks, but DataBricks is a Apache product. Apache product like how we have ANSI SQL, right? ANSI SQL, database DBMS. DataBricks basically is a product of, or the concept is from the Apache. Apache is a third party person. Basically, it's kind of, they're not going to charge until you need some customized actually. Okay. So we'll talk about who is Apache and all. But Apache is basically DataBricks definition is that one. Now, that concept, the DataBricks concept, which is given by Apache. Now, Microsoft taken that framework, that base framework, and they developed Azure DataBricks. So, recently added to Azure, it's the latest big data tool for the Microsoft Cloud. So, Microsoft also started implementing DataBricks, and they call as Azure DataBricks. DataBricks also implementing by
Vijaya, sir, here I have one question, sir.
Yes.
See, I have seen both the environments, DataBricks as well as the Azure. See, without DataBricks, the notebooks which are there in the Azure DataBricks, with that we can achieve all the things, or actually DataBricks should be required?
No. See, already Microsoft tie up with Apache. From there, they taken the engine. Okay. Only now Microsoft done the beautification. They included in the Azure. They given a little nice UI, right? So that and all they done. But the engine is from Apache only.
Okay. So that means internally, if we create in the Azure data factory, in the Azure ADF, if we create
Azure DataBricks.
DataBricks also there, right?
Yes, DataBricks, the product is from Apache only.
Okay.
But Microsoft is giving some money to them also. Okay. Internally.
Okay.
Right, sir? Yeah.
I did not get the clear, sir, actually.
No, sir. So let's take now, Hero Honda concept, right, sir? Hero Honda.
Yeah.
Now let's take Hero is that they will design that top model and they will sell. But engine is providing by Honda.
Yeah.
Okay, now how the share, sir? How the money they will share? They will share per engine. Let's take, they might Hero is the selling company, content company. So let's take if they sell a bike for 50,000, maybe for engine they will give 20,000.
Yes.
To the Honda company, right, sir?
Yeah.
Similarly, Microsoft also taken DataBricks engine from Apache.
Okay.
Basically, it's an open source, sir.
That's what, sir. My question here only. See, already they have taken the engine from the DataBricks and
they integrated in that engine. They integrated in the Azure cloud, sir.
Yes.
Azure cloud.
అవును సార్, అవును. నా క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటంటే ఇక్కడ ఇప్పుడు అజూర్ డేటా ఫ్యాక్టరీలో అజూర్ డేటా బ్రిక్స్ కూడా వస్తుంది కదా.
No. Azure DataBricks. In Azure DataBricks factory, we don't have Azure DataBricks. We have one task to call your notebooks which you are developing in Azure DataBricks. No. Azure DataBricks is a separate service.
ఓకే.
So it's a separate service in Azure.
ఓకే.
Like how you have Azure Blob, Azure Data Factory.
ఓకే.
Azure DataBricks also a separate service.
ఓకే.
So what you are thinking, you are going to develop DataBricks in DataBricks, which I share, then you will call. No.
That is
Azure is having capability to interact. And you can write a small jobs also using Azure DataBricks. Azure in Microsoft, that's what DataBricks develop a web-based. So if you see the second point, recently added to the Azure.
Yeah.
Recently added to Azure. It's the latest big data tool for the Microsoft Cloud.
Okay.
So Azure DataBricks now in two form it is there. Even AWS also they are implementing AWS DataBricks. Similarly, Azure DataBricks. They taken the open source component from Apache and they integrated as part of their service.
Okay.
Right, sir? Now, basically, DataBricks develop a web-based platform for working with Spark. So, DataBricks underlying it is using the technique called Spark. Why Spark? Spark is an in-memory engine which is having capability to process to get a super performance. Right, sir? That is what the underlying architecture. Right, like how in our .NET framework, we have CLR and all, right, sir? Similarly, DataBricks using a framework called Spark framework, Spark engine. Okay. Overall implementing now DataBricks, like let's take, sir, ANSI SQL. Overall implementing ANSI SQL, SQL Server from Microsoft, Oracle from Oracle, Teradata from Teradata company, right, sir?
Yeah.
Like that, the DataBricks, which is developed by Apache Spark, that engine, now they are taking the specific that open source code and implementing by these cloud providers. Who are the cloud providers and major cloud providers in the market? AWS, Azure, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. All in if you go any of these cloud provider, you can see the DataBricks engine there. Okay. Now, in order to claim you are expert in Azure DataBricks, you have to learn at least 2 languages. Okay, there are many languages are there. You can write Python, R, Java, SQL. We don't require to learn all the languages. At least we need to learn one language, Python, one database language called SQL. SQL we are comfortable. You don't require to spend SQL here actually. Okay, but Python you need to learn. Okay, Python is a mandatory. Forget about DataBricks. Another 2 years, if you are claiming your resumes is not seeing Python, we will not recruit you guys at all. Python is a part and parcel of our life. Python is like in the olden days, whether you are a Java developer, .NET developer, ASP developer, PHP developer, MSB developer, any developer, we used to expect SQL is a mandatory default. You have to learn. Ravi sir, no, 50% of the weightage we used to give, even you are a .NET developer. Right, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now, apart from SQL, yes or no? Now, it's okay. If you know or if you don't know, also okay. But Python is a mandatory. You have to learn. Whether you are going to pay 10,000 to some faculty, or you learn, I'll give you a beautiful link. If you are a self-learner, learn it. In 30 days, you need to learn. Okay. So many places we are using Python now. Okay. Python and SQL is a mandatory to make our jobs, I mean, say, easy and our resume also have a weightage. Okay. Now, these are all the different reasons why we go for DataBricks. Basically, deployment. So you don't require to do crazy kind of programs and all. You can directly deploy using notebook. There's a concept called notebook. Then I'll come back here actually. So if you look at the DataBricks architecture, so it is having capability to interact with a variety of data sources. It is having capability to interact with the blob, with the database, IoT, stream analytics, and DataBricks also having ML algorithms, Microsoft machine learning algorithms. So basically, it is integrating easily with the other stack, other services of Azure, right? So this is another reason why we need to go for Azure DataBricks. So it is having capability to interact with a variety of sources, more than 100. More than 100 sources, it is having capability to interact. And we'll show you how easy it is actually. And you have extensive documentation and support available, right? So this tool, let's take Python, SQL now, at least 30% of industry knows Python. 80% of the people know SQL, right? So you have extensive documentation on the tools and techniques which you are using in ADB, right? So, and you have a lot of documentation. Very simple. In a few clicks, your Azure DataBricks will be ready. Okay. In a few clicks, your Azure DataBricks service is ready. So let's take if you want to establish a Hadoop cluster, at least you need to recruit admin, Hadoop admin. Then you require to procure hardware. You need to establish a network because you know the computation node, control node, right? Different computers you need to install, establish a network. Whole lot of work he has to do, right, Prithvi? So, but in Azure DataBricks, it is like a few clicks, your service with multiple nodes is ready. Only you require to have money. Okay, if you want 2 nodes or 200 nodes, Azure is going to give that many computers, but you have to pay the money. Very few clicks, you are done. Only simple 4 steps. Create a cluster. Basically, you need to create a cluster. Cluster is nothing but collection of computers keeping together, talking together is called cluster. Okay, basically network. Okay, basically it's a network. How to in the cluster you can create a notebook. Notebook is like a creating a one SSIS package, one SSIS package, one notebook. Okay, I'll tell you what is notebook. It's a very crazy terminology. So basically we write a code in a notebook. It's like a notebook, like white notebook we have, right? So cells they used to call, and creating. After that, we can secure that code with credential and schedule to run. Simple step: create a cluster, write a code, say, secure that code, and run it whenever you want, wherever you want. Right? Very simple steps in Azure DataBricks. Now, here is the question. Here is the answer to CB. I told Azure Data Factory is also having capability to. If you look at the architecture here, it is more or less similar of ADF, right? Prithvi? ADF, what it will do? It will extract the data, process and store, right? Here also you can see similarity actually even with Azure Data Factory. So Azure Data Factory versus Azure DataBricks. I don't see we have much material. There's videos in much videos differences between Azure Data Factory and Azure DataBricks differences. Both Data Factory and DataBricks are cloud-based data integration tools that are available with Microsoft Azure data ecosystem and can handle big data, batch streaming, and structure and structured data. This is a similarity. Okay? But Azure Data Factory, if you look at underlying in ADF, we are not implementing Spark cluster. Spark is a what engine, Prithvi? Spark is a in-memory cluster base wherein you are getting super speed. But ADF is not a underlyingly, it is not having Spark engine. It is a normal engine, normal like how we have the data will not do store in the in-memory while processing. It will not get that kind of speed. Whereas DataBricks does have the capabilities to connect on-prem data sources and many outperform ADF on big data workloads since it will use it. So basically, what point I want to tell here is, in Azure DataBricks, we are using a Spark engine, which is a in-memory, wherein we will get a very good performance. But in Data Factory, we don't have Spark engine. Okay. Now, ADF is not having inbuilt-in feature to read the streaming data, the live data. For example, Twitter, or for example, Facebook. If at all you want to read the live data, or weblogs, if at all you want to read the live data, in ADF, we don't have built-in features, built-in tasks, built-in activities, we don't have. But in Azure Databricks, they have a built-in features available. There are given the APIs to handle real-time streaming data, right? That is it. So ADF compared to development, ADF is little easy because you are trying to drag and drop like exercise.
Yes.
Whereas in Azure Databricks, it requires some commitment to learn either Spark, Scala, Java, or Python, right? Either one of the language. You need to, again, we are going back to the olden days. Ravi sir. So even though we escaped from writing lot of Java code,
Yes, sir.
but again, world is asking us to go to the olden days. Very simple. Okay, you have to learn Python. Now go. Okay. Okay, so we have to learn not only you or me, sir, even the Prithvi, Sibi,
Yes.
Everybody.
Sitaram Jain, everybody has to learn Python. There is no alternative. Now, Ravi question. So, already DataBricks is there from Apache, right? Open source. Why we need to go for, again, Azure DataBricks, right, sir?
Yes, sir.
So, it is the answer to your question. Now, even though Unix and Linux is free in the left-hand side, why we'll go for Windows?
User friendly.
User friendly, sir. Windows.
User friendly. Okay, simple. You already given answer. So what Microsoft done is they taken best out of DataBricks, open source from Apache, and best out of Microsoft. Best of Microsoft user friendly GUI, right? So that's the reason it is a super success engine. So basically, if you look at here, one-click setup. If you want to Azure DataBricks, if you want to ready, in few clicks, your Azure DataBricks is ready. You don't require to scratch your head like, for example, if you install, if you want to install Informatica, the very crazy installation. People who install Informatica and all, they know.
Vijaya,
Yes, sir.
here one question, sir. If we have a Azure DataBricks, no need to go to the DataBricks environment, right?
No. It is already they taken that engine, sir. If you look at that, what is Azure DataBricks? It's a combination of they taken DataBricks component from DataBricks company.
Okay.
And on top of that one, Microsoft implemented the GUI.
GUI. So what
GUI.
my question is here, so what are the features are there in the DataBricks cloud?
Yes.
Same features will be there in the Azure DataBricks.
Azure DataBricks. Exactly, sir. Exactly.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Apart from that, Microsoft added some masala. What is a masala? User friendly, sir. User friendly. In few clicks, your Databricks is ready. Providing security, integrating your easily integrating with the different sources.
Okay.
Right? For example, it can easily talk with Azure Databricks. It is easily can talk SQL data warehouse, right? Blob. So all that native features it will provide. Who is provide? Microsoft Masala.
Can we have the access with current whatever we are using with that?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Now you can call Azure Databricks notebook from ADF. It's very simple. Or you can read data from Blob. Azure Blob from Azure Databricks.
Okay.
Vice versa. You can write also. They will, because both are the same same platform. They can talk each together without much effort.
Okay.
Right, Prithvi?
Yes, sir.
Nowadays, going forward, you keep on you hear Spark. The Spark architecture is like this. Okay, Spark basically Spark engine. On top of that one, you have a Spark SQL, Spark machine learning, Spark streaming, graphics. So you don't require to scratch too much at this stage Apache Spark. Slowly I'll introduce or I'll ask you guys to learn when it is required. As of now, you don't require to, basically you just remember the Spark architecture. You will have downside the storage, then AN, all those management scheduling tools. After on top of that, Spark engine will be there. So like in .NET, let's take in order to process data, sir, what library, what DLL we are using, system.data, right, sir? So system.data. For example, if you want to process IO, system.io DLL, right, sir? Similarly, in order to process data in Spark, we have to use a library called Spark SQL. In order to interact with the machine learning, you need to use a component called Spark mlib, my machine learning. In order to deal with the live data, IoT and all, you need to use a Spark streaming. In order to interact with the graphs, you need to use a graphs component. Okay, they are given all those components as part of Spark engine. Now, Azure Databricks core artifacts. Now, if you go to Azure Databricks, you can see these are all the different components. First step is you need to create a cluster. What is a cluster to be? It's a collection of computers.
Yes, sir.
Then next is workspace. So on top of that one, you need to create your own workspace. If you recall our Azure Synapses, we first after procuring the Azure Synapse Analytics, what we done? We have created a workspace, right? Similarly, here also you need to create a workspace.
Yeah, Vijay. Question
sir.
here. Cluster means it will give the how fastly we need to execute our queries.
Yeah, basically.
We'll create the, 1 minute, sir.
Yeah. Go ahead, sir. Complete.
So that for that purpose we are creating the cluster notebook where we are writing the our code, whether in Python or SQL. But what is the use of workspace?
So workspace will contain your notebooks. So let's take, sir, you have a computer. Okay. Now let's take in computer you cannot store directly, right? What you do, you format it, D drive, C drive. Then inside you will create a folder. Inside you put your file. File is nothing but a notebook, sir.
Yeah.
So the notebook you will keep under workspace.
Okay.
Like workspace is a container which will contain your notebooks.
It's like a hard disk workspace.
It is like a namespace. Like
Okay.
in your .NET is a namespace, or in our computer terminology, folders are actually. In
So
folder,
you mean to say that notebooks will store in the workspace, from workspace clusters will take and execute it.
exactly. That's correct, sir.
Okay.
Okay. So let's take you want to interact with the data inside. They will use they give all the libraries. For example, if you are working in .NET, default you will get lot of DLLs, right, sir? Similarly, this Azure also, ADB also will provide lot of libraries to deal with the data. Okay, they will inbuilt in. But if you want to import external libraries like .NET, we used to assemblies, we used to import externally assemblies, right? Similarly, you can do that as well. Okay, but most of the work we can achieve with our built-in DataBricks provided libraries only. Okay, we don't require to go to external libraries. If at all, they have given a provision for us. Okay, now the next is jobs. What is jobs? Like schedule, right? For example, we written a notebook every day to read the data from Azure Blob, store into Azure Synapses, right? Then we will not run every day, right? Like in ADB, we have triggers, or in SQL Server, we have a SQL Server agent where we will create a job. In ADB also, we have a concept called jobs, in which we are going to schedule the notebooks to run on a regular interval of time. These are the 5 components, a core component which you can see in Azure Databricks. Any doubt team here?
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Yes.
In which scenario will go for ADF and which scenario will go for ADP?
Yeah. So if you want to get a massive processing speed, like you can think Azure SQL DB, Azure Synapses, sir.
Yeah.
Right. So Azure Databricks internally, it is using a Spark engine, which is in memory, wherein you will get a good performance compared to your traditional Hadoop system or any normal processing system. Azure Databricks, if at all, you require a very good speed
Okay.
and the complex transformations. Then we have to go for Azure Databricks. For example, sir, SSIS we use when we go for script task.
If the existing existing transformations are not
Exactly, sir.
supported,
Yeah.
then we'll go for.
Similarly, ADF, if it's a normal work, just a plain load, wherein you don't require to processing much processing, you don't want to do much of aggregations, much of transformation, where you require a lot of, where your data is more, then not more, then we go for ADF.
Yeah.
No, you have a lot of transformation where you require super speed and the logic, the business rules are very complex. Then we go for Azure Databricks because we are using a Python language here.
Sir, one
Right, sir?
small example I will give, sir.
Yes.
Let us take, we have an Excel, sir. We have 10 sheets and we want to dynamically generate the sheet names. So our native ADF won't give that name, sir. So for pulling those names, we write some Python code, sir.
Exactly. So wherever you feel, sir, we feel that hey, this task is not possible ADF. So one of the tasks he told, for example, let's take, sir, you want to do the payroll processing. So ADF is not having that flexibility, right, sir? Because we have to take the salary slab, tax slab, right, sir?
Yes.
So that many transformation writing is not possible. Even it's possible, it's going to be crazy. That data flow is going to look like a crazy pointer programming. Instead of that one, we go and use DataBricks. Inside, we use a Python. Step by step, line by line code we write. First, we take the data from slabs. Then we take your salary. Then next step, okay, we'll calculate total salary. Then after that, we'll deduct step by step line code and all we write, right, sir? So in those scenarios, we go for DataBricks, right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So prerequisite to learn DataBricks. So SQL, we are all aware. I don't think somebody here without SQL knowledge, right? Now, only thing you have to learn is Python. And already you know Azure Blob, you know, Data Lake, Delta Lake, S3. Delta Lake, I'll tell you. S3 is basically from Amazon. You don't require to like Azure Blob, how we have in Azure Blob. In Azure, S3 is a storage in AWS.
Data
S3.
lake also.
Data Lake is like Azure Blob, sir. We'll
Okay.
try to create that one. Okay, you need to learn. These all S3 not required because we are not doing any AWS work here.
Okay.
At least you need to be aware Data Lake and Delta Lake.
Yeah.
So what I will ask, I will need to stop the class here. So by tomorrow class, what I will expect you guys from is go to explore Data Lake and Delta Lake. You will see some videos in YouTube and Python also. Just start off that thing. Tomorrow I'll tell you what and all you need to learn in Python knowledge. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll meet tomorrow same time.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, Tim. Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.